Good morning, everybody. Hello, Marcy. Hello, Carrie. What's up, Carrie? Heidi's here. Lisa Selvage. What? Oh, I'm so glad you made it. Good to see you. Literally, good to see you. Yeah. Kevin, glad you're here, man. Let's get those videos on, guys. Let's do this. We got more coming in, more coming in. While everybody's filing in, I got a question for you all. So, how many of you feel like AI takes more time than it's worth when it comes to generating leads? Anybody relate to that? You hear AI all the time, so then you start kind of diving in and you're like, dude, this is taking me so much time and I haven't even started the process of generating leads yet. Anybody relate to that? Because I know you see the ads on Facebook, all those ads or all the gurus always talking about how for 5 seconds they just use AI and in 5 minutes they've got 1 billion leads and it's great. Drop in the chat if you can relate. If you feel like AI takes more time than it's worth when it comes to generating leads. And I'll be honest with you, right? Like there's a lot AI is dangerous when it comes to time because if you're not intentional with it, oh my gosh, will you lose so much time? You will lose just infinite time. It's crazy. Lisa says yes. You know, Lisa. Yeah, Jody, right? What's up, Rebecca? Glad you're here. Hi, Eddie. Video on to you. I love it. There we go. Trying to admit everybody as they're coming in. So again, guys, question, how many of you feel like AI takes more time than it's worth in generating leads? I'm sure a lot of you can relate. Drop it in the chat if that is you. We got more people coming in. I'm trying to. Tony, Philip, Johanna, Clarence, Kathy. Love it. So glad you guys are here as well. Let's get those videos on, see those faces. Unless you're driving, don't do that. Don't have the video on while you're driving. I stop people's videos too. They're like, "No, it's fine." I'm like, "No, listen. First of all, it's distracting, and two, it's actually really dangerous, and I am not going to be part of that when you crash." I do not want someone to be like, "So what were you doing when you crashed?" "Well, I was listening to Robert." Well, that's not what I want to hear. I don't know. I will say it must be a compliment. The topic must have been really good. Andrea, you're here. I'm glad you made it. All right, 1 or 2 more minutes as people are still coming in. I'm curious to your answer to this question, Andrea. So, do you feel like AI takes more time than it's worth when it comes to generating leads as well? Because I know that's a pretty common thing that I made, and I know you've kind of dabbled with it, right? Yeah, I thought so. I'm curious. Trina, what about you? What are you thinking? More time than it's worth, or you got it down, or you don't even bother? Yeah, I don't even touch it. I'm curious what you think too. Carrie, how about you too? Drop them in the chat. I'm so curious. All right, Andrew says I've dabbled, but I haven't created leads with it. But I'll take the time. You know, honestly, like if you have the time, it is good to play with AI. There's just a lot to learn, and I don't know about you, Nick, but a lot of like the gurus out there trying to teach AI are not really teaching anything useful. They're just like teaching like this generic stuff that honestly, if you played around with AI for about 5 minutes, you probably would have figured out, but you just watched a 15-minute video telling you about it. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the problem with AI, I think, is that it's endless. It's this tool that sort of theoretically does almost anything.
Mm,
And yeah, I mean, I think, the challenge there is like you got to kind of pick a stream and go deep on it and sort of really figure out the nuances. And Yeah, that's why like this whole adaptive lead management thing we're talking about at the end of the day's conversation, it's like I just kind of kept going in this direction of how do you get somebody's contact information, you know what I mean? And
Right.
kind of got there. So I agree. I mean it's a tool. I think that's the thing everybody has to remember, right? Is like it's a tool. It's not going to do the work for you. Um some people are trying to make it do the work for them, and that's okay. I mean, I get that, but I do think if you think of it as a way of helping your customers and helping more people, helping them more substantially. I think that's where the real wins come from. But yeah, I mean
Like all tools,
it's still
right?
so early, right? I mean, this is like we're still in like beta phase. Like these things are still getting better substantially
Yeah.
every week or two, you know?
I love it. All right, guys, it is 5 after. I respect your time. You respect my time. We all respect each other's time. So let's get this going. So, this is for all the agents who feel overwhelmed or confused about AI. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of that. And guess what? It's okay. It is overwhelming and it is confusing. I use AI probably 8 to 9 hours a day, and I'm still have moments of frustration. I'm still confused at times where I'm like, wait a second, we went over this. This should be producing a different result. Like, there is so much with this, right? Or maybe you've spent hours talking to AI without actually like generating leads, without actually producing a result. So you're like, whoa, AI is so cool. And then you're like, but wait, I still haven't made any money with it, right? It still hasn't solved any problems for me yet. And that was the promise, right? That is the promise of AI. It will solve problems, right? That is the truth. Listen to any big guy who runs any of the major AIs, and they're all talking about how this will solve your problems. So it's pretty defeating when you spend a ton of time in it and it hasn't solved any problems yet, right? Or maybe you just want simple, actionable strategies that get leads and they get them faster, faster than you would normally be able to do on your own without these tools. If that's you, then this is your call for sure. Nick and I have been talking about doing a call like this for a while. And Nick has so many different things that he does that I just love because they're so relevant to us as real estate agents that we wanted to do a slightly different class today where we're going to actually do some demos of 3 different ways to use AI. And they're also at different skill levels, which I thought was so brilliant from Nick. It's literally like I'm beginner 101. I kind of know AI and some other things, and then I'm a bit more advanced. So, but just remember, there are 4 commitments that you're making for being on this call. Number one is that video on, right? This is a community of people, not blank screens. Okay. Could you imagine showing up to a class in person and you just have like a bag over your head, or you just walk in with a blanket, right? That's silly. You'd think that's ridiculous. Then don't do that here. Number two is distractions off. You did not show up today just to be distracted, right? You came here to learn something useful, right? And I give you full permission, right, to tell me if you at the end of this don't find value. Tell me that because I need to grow. I need to learn, right? We need to grow. Of course, participate. There'll be some activities. Today is slightly different, but we're actually still shooting for a breakout room. So you're going to want to pay attention and be active in that breakout room. And then one of the most important ones is make someone's day. Go take something that you learned today and just go share it with another agent. Maybe it's a loan officer. Maybe it's just a business owner that you happen to know and you learned something about AI today. Go just bless someone like myself and Nick are blessing you today. Okay. So, real quick, what's your biggest frustration with using AI in your real estate business? I would love to get kind of those, and I bet Nick would too. Just give us some of the biggest frustrations in the chat that you have when it comes to AI. And I'll give you some examples. It could be, I don't even know how to use AI in real estate. All right, there we go. William coming up right strong. No idea how to use it, right? It could be, I know how to talk to AI, but I don't know how to make AI give me results, right? That's a big one that people who start to dabble with AI, that's the thing they end up doing is they spend a lot of time talking and a very little time actually getting results. Linda says everything. Don't worry, Linda. This is a good place for you to be. Um, Lisa, there are so many AI choices. There really are, right? And there are, by the way, strengths and weaknesses of each in AI, their LLM, large language model, right? All of them. I've asked AI how to become the top realtor in my area. It gave me some ideas, but I felt like I wanted more, right? Okay, so shallow conversations, surface level ones where you're like, I need more than that. I need results, right? We all can't stand when you're talking to someone and you're like, "Okay, tell me what to do." And then it's like, just generate leads. And you're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, but how?" Right? Give me the details. I love it, guys. I love it. If you still got more, keep going, Marcy, not using it to its full potential. Just so you know, nobody is, and probably nobody ever will. But we will help you use it in much greater detail with much greater purpose, without a doubt. All right, so this was kind of the things need to change moment, right? So tell me if you kind of relate to this, because I'm kind of using my own. You spent countless hours talking to AI, hoping, like all the gurus promised, it would automate your lead gen, follow up, social media, maybe even magically solve all your tech headaches too. But instead, you end up spending more time figuring out AI than you do actually using it, right? And so then you end up feeling more lost, confused, and frustrated than before, which is not what's supposed to happen with AI. You're not supposed to be more frustrated and confused after using it, right? So now you've lost all of those hours spent on AI and you've got no leads to show for it. You've got no real plan, like Andrea just said. You just a surface level plan you could have thought of on the top of your head easily. Would have taken you 5 minutes. Instead, you talk to AI for an hour to get a plan like that. Come on now, right? If you can relate to any of that, I want an X in the chat, right? I want that X in the chat. Okay. I want to see. There we go. Mm-hmm. That's right. That's why we do these calls, right, Nick? That's why we do these calls. That's why we're here. So you guys know what's coming next. Ready? Say it with me. Things need to change. Things need to change. And they will right now, right? Because this is about having clear, simple AI tools that generate or present assets your leads genuinely want. Okay, notice how I didn't say it would do it for you. Just like Nick talked about for those who were here earlier when we were chatting, it's going to help you. It's going to amplify you. It's going to give you focus, clarity, assets that your clients, your future clients really want. So now let's kind of get into our step one. And Nick's going to take over in a second. And it's about creating your PDF, right? And so just a quick explainer. You're just going to be creating a simple downloadable PDF using AI that directly solves your clients' top questions or problems, or just provides them with relevant personal value in some way, making it an easy yes for them to download. Did I summarize that okay, Nick? Is that pretty
Yeah.
good?
Uh-huh.
Sweet.
For sure.
All right, so now you're going to take over and share your screen as you squeen. That's funny. That's a funny word. And show us kind of what you're working on.
Sure. Yeah, let me go ahead and switch over here. Cool. Well, so folks, obviously we're going to go over three different versions of this today, and this is going to be the easiest of those versions. And I guess a couple things to just sort of mention right off the bat here as I get into this demo. What I'm going to make for you here is I think this is kind of like entry level lead magnets, right? So this is something that we're going to generate, that we're going to, use AI to create almost the entirety of. You're going to make, some touches, some tweaks, things like that. But the idea here is this is a conversation starter. That's how I always like to think about lead magnets, is that this is something, most real estate agents, they just kind of go out on social or in their email or whatever, however they're communicating with people, and they just sort of say, hey, if you need to buy or sell a house, let's talk, right? That's fine. You need people to know that. But if you give someone a reason to start a conversation with you before they are ready to buy or sell a house, then you're going to be the first agent they think of, and they may already be talking to you. They won't even think of anybody else, right? So that's the concept here, right? So we want to create things that are going to get people to say, kind of raise their hand, say, yeah, I need that thing from you. That sounds helpful. It sounds, beneficial. And ideally, we do that before they would have gone and sold their house. Okay, that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
what we're looking for, right? So I'm gonna kind of open up ChatGPT here, just to give you some quick overview. This is the paid version of ChatGPT. You can use the free version. So if you don't have an actual account, it costs 20 bucks a month. Personally, I subscribe to multiple different AI tools. I think they're totally worth it. Probably spending over 100 a month on AI total. But ChatGPT is a base level, I think is worth the 20 bucks a month. But again, feel free to do this with the free version. One other thing I recommend before we get started talking to the AI is there are different models. So if you're paying for this, you can actually switch the underlying technology. And in this one in particular, GPT 4.5 is one of the newer models. It's a little bit better at writing. So if you feel like you're getting content from AI that's not good enough, or you don't like the way it's written, that might be one thing to try is switch to a different model. So I'm just going to do that for today. And then the rest of this process is super simple. So I'm going to go in a document I created ahead of time. This is a prompt, and I'll kind of explain this here in just a second. Let me go ahead and grab this real quick. And actually, if anybody wants this, Robert, is this something we can maybe put in the newsletter to share out down?
Yeah, I bet you
Yeah.
guys would love that. We can put the prompts that he's just using and Marty. Heck yeah. Thanks, Nick. We will do that.
Okay.
We'll put it in the newsletter, guys.
Cool. So yeah, you can check it out there. So let me just, I'm gonna run this here in just a second, but before I do, let me just give you a couple quick pointers that apply to any time you talk to AI. The more specific, like I always tell folks, when you're talking to AI, think about it as an employee, right? If you hire an employee, they have their experience, they know what they're doing. If you don't give them specific directions, you typically don't get the results you want, right? I mean, even if they know what they're doing, you still have to say, look, I want you to create this thing for me, and I want it to look like this, and I want it to contain, you have to give them details. Well, a lot of people go to and they give like one or two sentences, and they're surprised when they don't get what they want as a result. It's the same as
Hmm.
talking to an employee, right? If you're not clear, if you're not specific, if you don't give it details, you can't expect a response that has those things, right? So that's what this is. This is what we call a prompt. And I won't necessarily read over the whole thing just to give you an idea, but I'm basically telling it what I want it to create, why I want it to create it. And then the cool thing about these prompts, and let me just kind of delete some spaces here so you can read more of it as we're talking it through because those spaces aren't going to matter to the AI. But here's what it's doing, right? It's going to create a document. It's got a title, it's got a subtitle, has an introduction paragraph, it has a checklist guide or quick steps, 6 to 10 items each, a bolded name for each step. So you can start to see here, this is a lot more detail than most of you are probably currently using, right? Like I'm giving it the structure that I want. And so what's cool about these prompts, and you'll see a lot of AI people talking about, I got my list of prompts and download it here, and those can be useful. But what you'll see here is that you can make some of these decisions before you get started, right?
Hmm.
So the more input you can give, the more of a conversation this sort of is with the AI, the more specific the output is going to be, right? So if you want to tell it, to bold certain things, if you want to tell it to structure it in a certain way, feel free to change any of that, right? The way this is set up currently is to basically make you like a one-page PDF, keeps things simple. And that way, you can always expand on that later if you want, right? Now, if you scroll a bit further down, it's going to give again, these are all kind of the details, what should the different tips contain? And then the last thing here is it's going to ask, can you insert your website? And so what I want to show you, and again, let me delete some of those spaces, is this is the kind of stuff I'm just going to use, let's just use Biz Video School as my example. That's the company I run full time. I'm going to put that in there, and I'm going to delete the rest of these because we don't need these. All right, so looking back at this prompt, right, we're basically saying you're a lead magnet creation expert helping me write a simple, high value PDF checklist or quick start guide that I can give away in exchange for emails or phone numbers. This document will be delivered to potential customers after they fill out a lead form or scan a QR code. Your output should be ready to copy and paste into Canva. All right, so we're not going to just take what it gives us and throw it out to people. We're going to make it look a little bit nicer with Canva. And then your goal is to attract subscribers, use this description of my content business and my ideal client. All right, so this is where what we want to do here. So we say use the description of my content and business and my ideal client to develop the best possible lead magnet for attracting them. All right, so that's what we need to edit in here. Where did I put that? So what we're going to do here is at the bottom. Oh, well, that's fine. I submitted it. I meant to add some spaces, so we'll see if it says anything right off the bat. I'm kind of curious to see what it does here because I did give it my website. And this is really cool. One of the things that AI will do is it can scan the internet, right? So look at this, right? So 7 easy steps to creating videos that attract clients. I never said anything about videos, right? What it did is it visited this website and it learned about the business, right? So it's structuring the content. So that's one of the coolest things you can do with AI is you can just give it what you've already made. If you already got a website, you already got content on the internet, give it that information and then see what it comes up with. The other step here, so let's just look at it, right? Like this is literally I copied and pasted a prompt. I gave it my website. I didn't even give it more details about my business. And right off the bat, it gives me a document for 7 easy steps to creating videos that attract clients. That's already pretty compelling. That's what people want, obviously. The subtitle, Discover How to Quickly Create Engaging Videos to Boost Your Business. This quick start guide is designed for busy business owners and real estate. So look at that, real estate professionals. Where did it learn that? On my website, because our website talks about it, right? I'm actually at the point where like I usually start there. If I'm doing something, if I'm building a tool, I'll just say, here's the website, go learn about this business. It saves 95% of the typing, right? So that's pretty cool. So here's the different steps. Step one, plan your message, choose your setup, craft a simple script, record confidently, edit briefly, publish strategically, encourage interaction. And I'll be honest, that's pretty good. I mean, I might tweak that a little bit. The descriptions here are a little short, so maybe we want to tell it to add a sentence or two to that. But there you go. I mean, that's it, right? So again, just kind of coming back and if you like this structure, we'll send this out, right? Just check the email newsletter. You can sign up and you'll grab I'll just include the link to it. You don't have to even sign up for anything. Just click the link, open it up, and you'll have that prompt. And literally, if you just include your website, you'll probably get something pretty good. Now, one last step, and then I'm going to copy this into Canva and we'll be done, is you can give feedback. So this is one thing I see a lot of people struggle with when I do these trainings is like talk to it like a person, right? So you can say this looks good. And I don't like typing while I'm presenting. So I have a tool on my computer where I can just talk to it. So I'm going to do that. This looks pretty good, but I don't like the amount of detail on each step. Let's double the length of the advice we give below each step. That just makes it a lot easier. And I'll tell you right now, too, sort of separate from this presentation, if you if you use your voice to text features on your computer and you talk to the AI instead of just typing, you also tend to get better results. I don't know if
100%.
they
I have to
live.
jump in there too,
Yeah.
Nick.
So you
It
probably
is
do that too.
crazy. Now, I am very proficient in typing. Very proficient. I don't have to look at the keyboard. I type fast. I'm very proficient. And yet, I am still a better articulator of the vision and of the goal. And so now I go into ChatGPT, I'll do the prompt like Nick just did. Obviously, there's some things I want to tweak. I hit that little voice record button at the bottom, next to the little square,
Hmm.
circle and square. I hit that and I just talk to the AI. I just go, that's pretty good. And I'll do it while I'm going through the document.
Yeah.
Unlike all of you guys who would be really bored if I just stood there and kind of aimlessly did things, AI is patient as heck. So I can just be like, okay, yeah, okay, step one's okay, but oh, okay, we need to fix this. So do that. And then in step two, I'd like to double the length. I just talk to it and that ends up taking me a couple minutes, right? But then it would have taken me so much longer to format it right to make sense typing it.
Hmm.
I would have missed nuances, missed thoughts, right? Because typing is a condensed version of our thoughts typically, right? And so I can't encourage you enough if you're like not proficient at typing, and even if you are, just learn to talk to the AI and you will be faster and way more efficient. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is a big deal. And it just makes it a lot easier to use AI, I'll be honest. Like I think I talk to it 75% of the time, unless I'm in like a place I can't speak out loud, then I'm typing.
Yeah.
But here we go, right? So now I would work on this longer, right? We're just doing a demo. We're going to be done in a second with this step. But look how simple that is, right? I think this is where you could make 10 of these in an afternoon, right? Even with some refinement and feedback and conversation with the AI and all of that. And the point is, now you have something different you can say to people. That's the key, right? Marketing is all about, saying something that helps you stand out. It's all about providing value. It's all about giving people something they want that goes beyond your kind of core service. And so now it is very easy. Like this is the kind of stuff, if you were to sit down and kind of try to pull this out of your brain without some help, it might be really hard, right? But now it's not. So the point is, you're going to see a flood of these things over the next few years, right? Like we're already seeing it, it's already happening. But get out ahead of that, right? Be one of the first agents to say, "Hey, I've got 10 new guides. Here's my list of guides. They're all free. Let me know which one you
Mm-hmm.
want." Or, you can have one more specific, like, I've got a guide on how to sell your house in less than 10 days, and then make it specific, if you live in this zip code. Like you could make custom guides for every zip code. You can make custom guides for every neighborhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want to be thinking about, right? So last step, just real quick, is I also and this I'll include the link to this template if you like it. This is just a really basic Canva template, and again, I'm just kind of showing you the basics. But Canva is amazing because you just come in here, you take the parts from the AI, right? So I copy the title, I come into Canva, I highlight the title, and I paste it in, right? Then you can make some tweaks to it and change the size, make the font a little smaller if it's too big, all that kind of stuff, right? You can put your logo in here. You can put your name of your business in there. You can change the colors. If you click on these and click here, you can change the color to any color you want. And then each of these steps here, and I think ours was 7 steps, so this one doesn't quite fit. But we could go back and say
Mm-hmm.
this 5 steps. And again, I'm not saying that out loud, which again, I can't ever, I can type okay, but I'm not as good at typing as you are, Robert, I don't think. So there you go. Right now, change it to 5 steps, easy peasy. So in the past, I would have tried to change the document to fit the writing that I'd put together. Now I can change the writing easily enough, right? So,
So,
there you
Nick,
go.
I want to point out something very important that you just did there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, he went to Canva. He found a template that he was like, this is okay. And what happens is the Canva template did not meet the needs, though, of what the output of the AI was. AI is much faster to adapt and change than you going into Canva trying to create or find new templates. So, my encouragement to you is make AI fit the template and get the product out quicker because I know a lot of you are not professional graphic designers, which means you will spend way too much time in Canva trying to find the right template and the right framing and the right everything versus just going back to AI, like Nick said, and said, make it 5 steps. Take the top 5 steps, take the most 5 relevant steps. Just talk to AI and make it work with what you have so you get a product out quicker. That is so much more efficient and effective than trying to make Canva work for AI, right?
Yep. And then, like, I mean, I'm just kind of filling
Jody
some
can't,
of
can't. Oh, I want to address this. Jody,
yeah.
ChatGPT does not know its limits. And so what happens is it'll promise the world. It'll tell you it'll make a Google Doc. It'll tell you that it'll edit a Google Doc for you. It'll tell you that it'll schedule it on your calendar. Unless you're using Operator, that's a whole different conversation. It typically cannot go and actually do anything for you. So for instance, you said, sending me Canva documents that I can actually see and use. Nope, can't do that. It definitely can't do that. Canva won't let it do that. That's a whole different conversation.
Right.
So all that Nick is doing here is he's just finding a template that roughly fits the structure, which is a guide, right? Here's simple steps, and then he's just copying and pasting each step into that template one by one. Does that make more sense, Jody? Yeah, we got you. And listen, I'm with you because I have had it try, promise me the world, and then I'm like, dude, what the heck is this? You literally said you made me a document. The document doesn't even go anywhere. It literally like, and then I ask it, and then it goes, "Oh, sorry, I can't do that." And I'm like, "Well, then why did you say you could?"
Right.
All right, so continue on, Nick.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, and that's about it. I'm That's all I want to show on this demo is like, I kind of did a search for a graphic that fits with the step, right? And I threw it in here. I mean, you can edit all of this. It's going to take you probably 10 minutes or less. Change the colors, customize it to your brand. It's just all very easy now. So what I encourage you to do and again, remember, like when I put that prompt in, I didn't tell it anything else. You can be more specific, right? So if I wanted to go back to this prompt, the initial one I put in where I included my website and say, I want a guide that's geared towards sellers. I want a guide that's geared towards this particular zip code, include that, right? The more specific, the better. I think that's where marketing is going. AI makes it so easy to personalize things. Like a lot of folks are going out and they're trying to like let AI do the work for them. So like they'll post things on social media that AI generated and it just doesn't sound like them and everybody can recognize it nowadays. Versus some businesses are thinking, how can I customize the marketing and the things I offer to be more useful, right? So
Mm-hmm.
a guide about how to sell my house, yeah, that's useful. A guide about how to sell my house in a particular zip code that takes into account some of the nuances of that area, maybe even some of the local laws, things like that. Like that's going to be more valuable to me,
Yep.
right? So think about that when you're making this stuff. And then this one, anybody can do this. Like this is not too hard for anybody to do at this point, right? As long as you know how to click on a computer and the basics copy and paste, you can do this, right? So the next two are going to be a little more advanced as we get into them. But I encourage you, if you haven't yet, give this a try sometime.
Okay. Thank you. That was awesome.
And I'll release the screen share there for you.
All right. So we don't have to go back and forth on screen sharing. I'll actually probably just let you keep it, Nick.
Oh, sure,
Um,
that's fine.
so guys, who here is going to go create a guide then? Don't worry, you'll get the prompts, everything like that. But do you guys understand the value of creating a guide? And with AI now and what Nick is teaching you right here with us, you should have 10, 20, 30 guides always available. I am living proof that guides work, and I was before AI. I custom made guides because I needed conversation starters with people. And so I made guides that were relevant to them. Literally, like everything you need to know about moving to Tennessee, right? Living in Franklin, Tennessee. I made them specific, and my wife and I put so much time into it. And now I can churn out guides from AI in a fraction of the time. It pisses me off and makes me happy at the same time. I spent so much time, so I cannot encourage you enough. You should have guides all the time. And the best thing you can do is just think of every type of demographic you serve. Do you serve for sale by owners? Okay. You should have 3 to 4 for sale by owner guides. Okay. Right. The top 5 things for sale by owners do that make them lose money. Right. Stuff like that. So really think about it, and you should have guides for all of them. And you'll just rinse and repeat. You'll use them again and again and again and again and again, and you will be so happy that you have this while most agents are stuttering. And they're like, well, I love for sale by owners versus here's a direct value offer. Here
Right.
you go right away. It's relevant. It's awesome. There you go. All right, Nick. So let's move on to our kind of step two, which is, getting into AI and video,
Hmm.
where we're recording short, simple videos using AI tools to help us. The AI is not making the right. The AI is not making the video for us. It's
Right.
enhancing and helping us kind of be really focused
Hmm.
on what we're doing, very intentional, very efficient on our video making process. Okay.
Right. So
And this is a little more advanced, guys, as we're getting into this one. So we have these kind of different steps. So now we're getting a little more advanced.
yeah, and I, to be clear, like this one, it doesn't have to be hard. This one's advanced basically based on like if you make videos or not, right? So if you make a lot of
Mm.
videos, like this probably won't feel all that complicated. If you do, if you're just getting started or haven't used video, like then obviously this one's a much harder step. It's kind of why it's number two. But here's the thing. The reason that I think video, and I'm gonna just this is again another prompt, it's in the same document, so you'll get access to this too. But the reason that I think video is a better form of a lead magnet is that it includes you, right? I mean, I think that's the key here. AI, as we get more technologically advanced as a civilization, we're getting closer and closer to the point where, we don't need a human, right? I mean, AI is doing more of the work. I mean, that's kind of exciting from a sort of, science fiction perspective, utopia potentially could go the other way, obviously. And so, that's where, but I think humans, we still want human connection, right? I mean, we still like we want, if we're going to interact with a business, we want to know there's a real person there. And so that's part of
Hmm.
why I'm not a fan of the AI avatars. They're getting better. We're getting to a point where you can have this sort of fake version of yourself and it almost looks and feels real. And I know some people that are kind of high level in AI and they put these videos out and you kind of can't tell anymore. But on the other hand, it's like if I'm going to see your face, I want it to be your face, right? It's sort of the same thing as like agents that have a picture that's 10 years old on their business card, and you meet them and you're like, wait a second, is this the same person? You definitely. And so it's that kind of a kind of experience, but but way beyond that, obviously, right? Because it really isn't your face at all. So that's a pet peeve of mine. I know some people are going to disagree with that. That's okay. But this to me is your opportunity to sort of flip that script a little bit, right? To have some humanity, to be real, to stumble a couple words, to be completely human, to be authentic. We used to talk about authenticity on social media. That seems to have died off really quickly now that everybody's trying to use AI to kind of replace themselves. But I still think that's true. I still think that's really important. So that's the difference here, right? It's going to be a similar process. We're going to use a prompt. I don't know if I have time to show the editing stuff on the phone, but I can kind of describe a couple things you can do pretty easily there because AI can do a lot of the editing for you, which is really nice.
Is this stuff
Um,
that would also be in your business school?
yeah, yeah, we definitely
Okay, so if
cover
someone is
all this kind of
listening and
stuff,
they're
right?
like, okay, I actually do want to do more videos, I want to learn more in depth, that would be a good place for them, right?
Yes,
Okay, just
absolutely.
wanted to make sure.
Yes. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get this started here because I want you to see how this works and all that. So a couple things, like again, a lot of these types of prompts that we're giving to you in advance, there's some nuance in them that is really important to use. Okay. So for example, you're gonna see when I scroll down here, I say between 250 and 400 words. That's because that's gonna keep your video under 3 minutes. Now, if you speak really slowly, 250, I mean, 250 words is usually not 3 minutes. That's somebody talking really, really slow. But you can kind of adjust it based on your own cadence. So if you want to say, I'm going to read it really slowly, I need 250, or I'm a really fast talker, I need 400, you can tell it that. But that's something that we want to be specific about, right? We want to make sure, like the funny thing is you're going to see somewhere in here, and I won't necessarily read through the whole thing, but it will say like output just the script so they can read it into the camera, that kind of stuff, right? So those nuances, anytime you copy a prompt, is typically going to be really helpful, right? So let's go ahead and customize it. So you're a content strategist helping a real estate, I would say realtor, create a short training video that we delivered as a lead magnet after someone opts in. The video is not promotional. This is an actual valuable training. Do not include any sales language, hooks, or calls to action, right? Because again, what the AI is trained on certain things, it's going to default to those things if you don't tell it otherwise, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's trained on a lot of social media videos, mostly social media videos, right? So if you don't say anything, it's going to say stuff like comment below and or it's going to say follow my account. Well, that's not what this video is, right? This is meant to be a free training. We're giving it to somebody who asks for it. We don't need to have that stuff in it. It might not even be posted publicly, right? Because again, we're trying to get them to give us their contact information in exchange for access to it. So that's all that kind of nuance. And again, you don't have to worry about that because that's already built in here. But just to help you understand, next time you write a prompt, next time you use AI, those kinds of nuances can be a big deal. And the more you use it, the more you're going to start to understand its quirks and its tricks and things like that. And for example, if it bothers you that it's always telling you it's going to do things that it can't actually do, you can start the conversation there. You can say, hey, before you get started, go do some research and figure out what your latest capabilities are. Make sure you only make
Yep.
recommendations within those limits. And again, it might not be perfect. It may still make a mistake later, but that will usually fix those problems.
Yep.
Last step in here is this is where the topic goes. Okay. So this is where you can be as specific as you want. So let's try it. Let's say, how to sell your two-story house in 63139, that's my zip code, in under, say, 6 weeks. I don't know. I don't know what a reasonable amount of time at this point in this market is. That might be kind of fast at this point. I know things are switching the other way lately, but let's see what it comes up with. Okay. That is very specific. So again, two-story house in a particular zip code in under 6 weeks. I mean, that's a very specific
Yeah.
guide. But if somebody asks for that, you know a bunch of things about them, right? You know that they live in that zip code, or more than likely near it at the very least. They want to sell fast, so they're a motivated seller. That's a good thing for you usually. And then they're living in a two-story house. I don't know if that's going to be more valuable than a one-story in those areas, but you're getting that information, right? So you customize it however you want, and let's go ahead. I'm just going to submit this, and we'll see what it comes up with. All right, so so one of the things that's interesting about this model 4.5 is it actually writes a lot slower. So if you've used AI and you're like, man, normally it just kind of cranks it out, it's taking longer, and that's because it is a more advanced model, right? It's actually designed to be better at writing. It sort of takes its time a little bit by design as well. And so you're going to usually take a few seconds. But again, what I always like to think about is how long did this used to take me? How much mental energy did this used to take me? And I think the mistake a lot of people are making with AI right now is they're saying, okay, this used to take me, several hours of exhausting mental effort. This only took me 3 minutes. Now I'm done. And what I would encourage you to do is take those couple hours of exhaustive mental energy and use them elsewhere, right? Because what's happening is kind of getting off topic, but there is some research already showing that people that are reliant on AI are getting dumber, basically. So we do have to be careful with that, right? So don't get so reliant on this to say like, oh, I did all the work. I'm just gonna go, take a nap or watch TV or something. Make sure you're pushing to that next level. And so maybe that means instead of making one of these, you're making five, right? Because that's what AI has kind of freed you up to do. And
And
I
you
don't
and you know,
reiterate.
you
Yeah.
said it. You're reading this, you're making sure it sounds like you, you're making sure it's
Mhm.
accurate. That is creating your brain, activating your brain to critique, to analyze, to research. So your brain's being active. What Nick is saying, and he's 100% right, those reports coming out are very true, is that people are coming in and they're not thinking. So they're just saying, do this, and they're not thinking it through. They're not thinking about what they want. They're not thinking about how they want to deliver it. They're not checking their work. They're not doing the things that in normal everyday life you have to do. And so you are still the business owner. You are quality control. You are still the writer. You are still the editor. You are still the promoter. You are still all the hats you wear. AI is just your assistant. It's just there to assist you to do more of the thing that you already do or should be doing. Okay. So I hope that's really clear. And I agree with Nick. I cannot stress that enough. We are not going for a Wally end game here. Okay.
Right. So there you go. We got our script, right? So here's the output from this particular prompt. And again, I wouldn't leave it as is. I mean, we're doing quick demos today, so we're going to move on. But look at it, right? I mean, think about like, for example, hi and welcome. I'm not going to say hi and welcome at the beginning of a video. It just sounds weird, right? So I'd probably tweak that. Now I can just write what I wanted to say, like, hey, I'm Nick here. Thanks for watching this, whatever you might say. Now, you might say to yourself, if you've ever heard me talk about a video before, why are you saying hi, Nick here? Because you always tell me, don't say your name at the beginning of a video. Well, that's because this is not a social media video, right? This is a training. They are committed to watching it. They had to ask for it, right? So it's a different context. If I'm doing a social video, I'm not going to waste the first couple seconds introducing myself because I'm trying to hook the viewer. I don't have to hook a viewer here, right? This is beyond that step. This is now building a relationship. So introducing yourself, saying your name, your business, that's fine in a training video, right? That's what this is supposed to be. Now you might read the script and go, oh, this would be a pretty decent social media video, and that's fine too, right? We can use things in different contexts and you can
That's right.
kind of apply it where you want. But the idea here is, let's give them something that gives them some useful information that teaches them something new. You may look at this and like it. You may think, I mean, I look at this and personally, I think this is kind of rudimentary. I'm not sure this is advanced enough. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's the advice I give it. Let's make something a little bit more detailed and advanced. I don't want this to come across as too generic. Now, I do like the specific pricing. And again, I live in this zip code, and I will say that is actually pretty accurate. I do think a lot of the homes selling in the area are kind of in this price range. My neighborhood, I'll tell you though, is very eclectic. I mean, there are houses here that are tiny one bedrooms all the way up to like 5 bedrooms. I mean, I live in the city. It's an old neighborhood. There's all kinds of weird stuff here. So it's very hard to sort of pinpoint an accurate average, but that does seem pretty close. So again, it's going to go back through. It's going to rewrite it. We don't have to keep on this. I want to
It's
make sure we
fantastic though, the
go fast.
detail. You just gave it a small little critique
Right.
and then it just became so much more detailed. And
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing, it's almost like it's gaining its confidence, guys. It's almost like it's saying, oh, okay, I'm more confident about what you're asking me to do. And now I can almost be freed to be better at the to produce the result that you want. So really don't be shy to just talk to it. Just talk to it. I know it feels weird because you're literally talking to a computer, right? But it's one of the most effective methods. AI is in many ways is trained on human behavior,
Mm-hmm.
and so when you kind of almost treat it, it sounds weird, but you treat it like a human. Um, it will process often better because it's the whole, if you read about AI, the whole thing they're trying to do is have AI be a social asset and a work asset for humans. So it's trained to understand humans, right? Don't talk to it like a computer, talk to it like a human.
Right. Absolutely. Cool. So there you go. That's the new version. We're gonna move on. We got one more quick demo to do here in
Yes,
just a
I think we're
second.
going to skip the breakout room today because I think I want us to be able to have the demo and then I
Yeah,
know there's going to be questions. There are already some
sure.
questions. So, yeah.
Let's get to the third version. This one, I'll tell you right now, this is more advanced for sure. I don't think this is too hard for the average person to do, but what you're going to see might feel a little bit overwhelming. So I'm going to switch tools. And this is also one of those kind of AI hacks where different AI companies are better at different things. So I'm going to go to a platform called Claude.ai, Claude. And it has these newer models called Sonnet 4. That's the one I'm going to use. What it's really good at is writing code. All right. So I'm not going to, again, this is a quick demo. I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of kind of what you can do here. But I'm going to share a concept with you that I call an adaptive lead magnet. All right. And it's probably easiest just to sort of see a quick example. So let me find one that I think is pretty cool. So here it is. This is one, okay, this one's called the home value maximizer. All right. Now, here's the crazy thing, okay? This is an AI powered tool that I have on my website that anybody can use for free. And I just offer it to them and they just got to give me their contact information, right? Now, I've got other versions, like this is one, for example, that'll generate you a content calendar. So, like, if you don't know what videos to make, you can go to my website and you can get 48 completely customized ideas for videos based on who you are, what you do for a living, and who your ideal customer is. Pretty helpful, obviously, if you're struggling with that. So this one's more for real estate, obviously, right? So this is somebody who's thinking about selling their house. And the idea here is I'm going to tell them using this tool, we're going to tell them which projects to work on. What parts of their house should they fix? What parts should they skip? What can they leave alone? What, basically, how can I get the most ROI when I sell my house, right? Now, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, who cared? You just list the house and it sells. We know that was like kind of a crazy time. This is becoming a lot more relevant again, right? A lot of houses are sitting a lot longer. People are starting to ask these questions again. And so coming out with something like this can be a major competitive advantage, right? Would you rather
Hmm.
visit a real estate website that has these kinds of tools on it or one that just has, a picture of the agent saying, "Hey, call me and we can talk," right? So the way this works is pretty simple. They take some pictures of their home. So I've got a couple, these are just demo images, but they snap some pictures of their actual home. They can say where they're located, right? So I'm just going to put in St. Louis again, how long into the future they plan on moving so they can get a customized schedule for the work they're going to do. They can add additional details, like we just landscaped the backyard. I don't know. We're just kind of throwing random stuff in there. They can select a budget on how much they want to spend and then how much of the work they want to do themselves. And then when they're ready, they come over here, or sorry, they come down. Where's my button? There it is. And they click the button. All right. Now, what this is going to do is this is going to analyze the pictures and it's going to give them a completely customized plan for what they should do to their property. All right. Now, I mean, this is the kind of thing, like, if you were to try to have offered this kind of help to somebody a couple years ago, that's a lot of work for you. They're going to either have to send the pictures to you, you're going to have to stop by their property. Like, there's going to be a lot of kind of involvement there. And I'll tell you right now, if you were to put that offer out, most people aren't going to want you to do that, right? They don't want you to have to come over to their house or, look through a bunch of pictures and get on the phone with you. Like, that's all kind of a hassle. This they can open up on their phone, snap a couple pictures, upload them, and literally within a minute, they can have customized advice, right? And we won't go over this report too much, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of kind of how this concept works, right? So again, customized advice based on where they're located. It's even going to give them like a sort of ballpark implementation plan, all that kind of stuff. If they want to download it, they can download a copy, right? And that's it. It takes 2 minutes to use. It is very simple, very straightforward, and it doesn't have to be perfect because it was free, right? That's again, a lot of people are building stuff with AI because they want to sell it. Like I have a buddy of mine, he made a little app and he's trying to sell it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. I think everything's gonna be free in the next couple years, right? Because it's just too easy to make these things now. And if you can offer something for free, like the reason I even came up with this concept about a year ago was I built some tools for our students in our school, and they were so affordable to use and to create in the first place that I started thinking, wow, if it only costs me a penny every time somebody uses my tool, and that is what this costs about a cent every time somebody uses this. That's it. 1 penny to give them a completely customized report on what they should fix in their house, then somebody's going to give it away for free. If something costs that little, some company will find a way to give it away for free, and you'll never look back. It'll never cost money again, right? So that's what I'm doing, right? That's the idea. Now, we only got a few minutes left, so you might be sitting there thinking like, okay, he's going to show me how to build one of these. That's crazy, but watch this, all right? I've got a chat here in Claude that's got some rules kind of built in already. I won't go over those necessarily, but all I have to do is tell it what I want, and I can make a new one of these tools, right? So I had an idea that's been proposed on a few of these classes. We're just going to run with it, and we're going to see if it can build this tool for us. I want to
Don't get
build a
caught up with the
tool for
link,
someone who's
guys. Don't
thinking
get caught up
about
with the
either
link.
upsizing or downsizing, and they need to plan what kind of amenities they need in the new home. So, like number of bedrooms, bathrooms, but also things that are more nuanced, such as whether or not they should live in a one-story if they're aging, et cetera, et cetera. Go ahead and build a tool that would help somebody make that decision. All right, so we're going to submit that and then watch carefully because this is like the most mind-blowing thing you'll ever see when it comes to AI. I don't know how to write computer code. Okay, I took some classes in college. I had my buddy who was my partner in the labs. Literally, like probably the smartest guy I've ever met. Like, dude was just he was tutoring people taking organic chemistry. He never took organic chemistry, so he was tutoring all of the pre-med students on our floor in a subject he never even studied. So that's how smart this guy was. He did all the work, so I didn't really learn much. All right. So I am pretty much novice at this as well. I have a tiny bit more experience than you do. This is it writing Python code. This is AI writing Python code from scratch based on some rules I gave it, based on a template that I gave it. But look how fast it's working. And all I gave it was what, 2 sentences of instructions? And it's coming up with a completely new AI powered tool. Now, while it's doing that, all I have to do if I want to make one of these for my own business is come into this platform. And again, I'm not giving you every single step right now. I'm moving kind of quickly because I just want you to, again, this is more advanced. So if you're looking at this going, wow, I have no idea, like, don't worry about it. But this is how easy it's gotten. I'm going to click a button to duplicate an existing space. And I'm going to say, I'm going to call this the home resizer. Just making up a name there. And the one thing I need to power this is what's called an API key. And so I'm just going to grab this real quick. But what all that means is that I can go to OpenAI, same company that provides ChatGPT, and I can say, I want to use ChatGPT for my customers. I want to make tools that use the same technology as ChatGPT. That's all this is. So I create a new key here. And by the way, I'm going to delete this key later. So don't try to copy it or anything, obviously. But I'm going to call it Home Resizer. I'm going to create it. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to add it to this space back here on this platform. It's called Hugging Face, if you're curious and you want to look into it. And then while I was doing that, it was finishing writing my code, right? So I'm going to come back to my code. This is the code it wrote. Probably kind of overwhelming if you don't really look at computer code very often. But all you have to know how to do is click a button that says copy. Right? So if you can you click a button that says copy? I hope so, right? You click the button that says copy, you come back to this space here, and we're going to go to files. We're going to contribute a new file, create a new one, right? We call it app.py, and we paste in the code we copied. And then we click the button down here that says, this says commit new file to main. That just means save. We're saving the file. All right. And we'll see. Give it about a minute. It's going to say building up here. That means it's creating the new tool based on the code that I just uploaded. And when it's done, it'll say running. Okay. Once it does, we will see if this worked. It doesn't always work the first time. Okay. So I'm going to hedge a little bit there. I'm going to have to make a quick tweak or two. But within less than 10 minutes, with a couple things kind of set up in advance, you got to have a couple accounts that you're logged into, obviously. But that's it. In less than 10 minutes, you can build your own AI-powered tool that can do anything you want it to do, right? So I'm going to switch back over to, all right, so we did get, oh, let me check one other thing I needed to edit here. And it gave me this code. I just hadn't grabbed it yet. So let me grab this other little file real quick and we'll add it. And then that hopefully this will work on the next try here. All right. So we'll come back to the app, and once it's finished building, you'll see if it shows up. Now, when this, if it doesn't work, you just take whatever error it gives you and you give it back to the AI, and then it fixes it,
Hmm.
right? I mean, it's that simple. So I get that, like right now, you look at this and there's some things you're seeing here, like this right on the screen. Like, what is that? Don't worry about it, right? It might feel a little overwhelming, but the point is the steps, anytime you learn something new, right? The first time you learned to drive a car, there was a whole bunch of steps you had to learn, and you learned them one at a time and you put them together, and eventually you could drive, and now it's just second nature. This
Hmm.
is the same kind of thing, right? We are all at
And
that
it
level.
starts with the PDF,
Yeah,
learning how to just
exactly.
talk to it conversationally. Then it starts with some like the videos where you're using other apps or using other ways in AI. And then now it goes to this result.
So here we go, right? So this is again, this didn't exist 5 minutes ago, all right?
Did you guys see this? Like, do you realize what just happened? He built this right in front of you,
So we can
right
say
in front of you.
what home we're currently in, right? We can describe our household. So I got 3 people in the house. I got, they're 45, 47, and we'll say 12, and just making stuff up here. Preferences. And it even organizes it into separate tabs, which makes it less overwhelming, right? So, do I need a home office? Occasional use, importance to, I mean, this is crazy. I didn't tell it to do any of this, by the way, right? Like it came up with almost all this on its own. Storage needs, I got a lot of stuff to store, we'll say. All right. And then practical factors, we'll give it a more reasonable budget. And let's just see if it works, right? So we click the button here. It's analyzing your needs, and so it's working. That means that it is actually. So what's happening now is it's taking this information, it's passing it over to the AI, right? Like I said, it's the same AI as ChatGPT uses, and it's going to take 30 seconds up to a minute to process, just like the other tool, and then it's going to give us a customized report. Now, I haven't given it any feedback yet, right? So like I want to give feedback. I want to look at the okay, change this, tweak that, move this around. But look at this, right? I mean, we'll see what the report looks like. Maybe it's gonna be useful, maybe it won't be. We'll sort of take it from there. I know we're almost out of time, so I want to wrap it up here in a second. But this is, what I want you to take away from that is exactly as you're saying is, just start at the beginning. Start with the PDF, make 5 of them, make 10 of them, right? I mean, get used to it. And here we go. We got the results. So there you go, right? It's giving you a suggestion on the total number of bedrooms and bathrooms, the square footage, key considerations based on your life stage. I mean, these things it's just crazy, right? Now, there's a lot of detail here. Do I need all this? Nah, probably not, right? I could change some of it. You can change the structure. Like sometimes I'll go in and say, like, hey, it's kind of hard to read. Can you reformat the output? All that kind of stuff.
Right.
But,
Include things, exclude
right.
things, shorten, lengthen. You have the vision. It is just the tool that helps you carry it out.
Yep. And there you go, right? So, I mean, honestly, I would make changes to this, but I could go share this right now and people will be excited to use it and they'd be happy that I shared it with them, right? That's what this is. So I think, to kind of give you a final thought on this one, this third version, which again I call these adaptive lead magnets. This is kind of where I'm at with what I'm doing with AI. But the point is like, look, I mean, if you can give someone a tool, well, you might say to yourself, couldn't they go to ChatGPT and get a similar response? And the answer is yes, right? Because it's the same technology. But what you're doing is you're giving them structure. You're giving them like all the details they're putting in here. It's a lot easier to go to a tool like this and fill in a form because humans, that's what
Hmm.
we're used to on the internet, filling in forms. Been doing that for decades now. And fill in a form and click a button and get a report. That has a unique feeling to it. It's more structured. It allows you to give them a much more specific output than again most people are currently getting from ChatGPT.
That's
And
right.
this gives you a differentiator, right? So now we had a question earlier about like where do you share these things? You share them wherever you can, right? You go to AI, you go to Facebook, you go to your email list. You could go to networking events, right? Like imagine getting up at your next BNI meeting, for example, and saying, "Hey, I got a cool announcement. I have a new custom AI tool that helps people plan what kind of home they should move into so they can do a better job searching for the right kinds of properties. Why don't you just go out and offer it to your people and get everybody in your chapter to post about it on social media? And everybody who comments on their posts, those are all leads, right? You get to then follow up with those people, start a conversation with them, offer them the tool, and then follow up on it, right? So that's, I know we're out of time, but that's what all this is about. It's all three of these strategies are about starting conversations, right? Lead gen, we always talk about lead gen, getting leads, all this kind of stuff. You don't, I mean, you can call them leads if you want, but what we're really doing is we're talking to humans, right? Now, leads kind of makes them feel like numbers, and we're trying to talk about real estate. So if you can make stuff, whether or not they're videos, PDFs, or AI powered tools, and offer those things of value to the people in your area, they're going to want to have more of a conversation with you about real estate because that's more valuable. That's more useful to them than the next agent who's just saying, "Hey, when you need to sell, call me," right? So that's what you want to think about. So that's kind of my final thought on all this. So I can hang around for a few minutes, Robert, if you want people have
Yeah,
questions,
this was
but
amazing.
I want to
So
let people go if they need to.
give you
So
guys a couple critical notes, right? Everything you do on AI for your clientele should be done through the lens of providing relevant value to your clients. Do not send fluff. Do not send junk. Actually proofread. Actually have an intent. I always say, solve a problem.
yeah,
Whatever you're building, whatever you're typing, whatever video you're recording, it should solve your ideal clientele's problem in some capacity or lead to the solution, right? That means you have to know your audience. You need to understand the people you're talking to, you're building for, you're creating PDFs for, right? And the goal is engagement, not a perfect AI tool, not a pretty AI tool, even, right? The goal is that it's engaging. It engages them by solving their problems. One of the most important things is you need to have a clear end goal with this. So I love what we showed today because it was create a PDF, not just create information. No, no, no. You're creating a very specific guide. You're creating a very specific video and you're creating a very specific app. You need to be specific or you will get lost and aimless in AI. And guess what happens to the AI? It gets lost and aimless as well. It will get confused and you will just get so frustrated, right? With AI and yourself, and you will produce no results and you will lose so much time. Remember as well, simplicity beats complexity. Keep it simple, keep it focused. Again, keep it specific, right? And um, we're going to throw all of this into the newsletter for you. There's a whole bunch of stuff people are asking. You'll get the replay. You'll get today's slideshow that I have, which really it's more about the replay of what Nick did today. He said he's throwing in there the prompt guides for you. He has websites where you can go check this out, courses. You have courses too on some of this stuff, right?
yeah. So if you want, I also have a sign up page where you can register for a 50% off coupon on one of the upcoming courses.
Yes,
So
yes. Can we put
I'll
that in
send
the
that. Yeah,
newsletter
I'll
too?
send that to you as well. And then yeah, if you sign up for that too, you'll get invites to like the free trainings that we do. We got a
Perfect.
community we're gonna be rolling out for people that want to do more, lead gen or conversation starting with AI. So that'll all be in there as well. Yeah.
Okay, so for those asking, how do you get the newsletter? We're going to drop that link in the chat right now. It's free. And for those who are subscribed, we load it up with value, with benefits, just to bless you and make it better. So we're going to drop that subscribe to the newsletter in the chat in just a second. Make sure you go subscribe, and then it goes out on Fridays. Also, get in the Facebook groups, and then anywhere else that you can connect with Nick is always a smart place to be. He's one of my favorite people to have. I think Nick, even you're one of my favorite is on Facebook. I think I'm pretty sure
Oh,
I
really?
put you at a favorite
Nice.
so that I can always see what you got going on because you're actually useful, man. Like I'm so grateful for you because you're actually
Good.
useful. Like
Good.
everything that you showed today, every single person in this call could use in some capacity to scale their business and help their clients better. And that's what we need from trainings. That's kind of our standard,
Yeah.
right?
So let's say if I was gonna grab my Facebook link here, if anybody
I
wants
love
to
it.
connect, I'll just throw that in the chat
All
to
right,
make
so
it
go
easy.
ahead, guys. I mean, Nick, if you need to go, you can go. But if anybody wants to drop some questions now in the chat, and and we can just chat a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
I got a couple minutes. I can answer any
Sweet.
questions.
So let's start with Heidi. How does this version of AI 4.5 compare to Epic's AI? Actually, you might not know that. So, Heidi, just so you know, Epic's AI is built on ChatGPT 4.0. So, just as Nick said earlier, 4.5 is just a little bit better at writing. So, it should be a little bit better at writing than what you would get at Epic. But I happen to know that Epic's AI is built off of ChatGPT. So we got that. Sorry, Nick, you can't answer that one because you don't know
Yeah,
Epic's
right.
AI. Let's see. I know there's more questions. Let me. Oh, Andrea asked how when this Hugging Face app is done, how do we share the actual app? So not who or where, but how do we share it?
Sure. So what you'll see on Hugging Face is you can either embed it or you can just share the link here. Now, it has to be public. So that if you go into settings here, you switch it to you come down to, where is it?
Make public.
Oh, I
You
think
passed it. Yep.
there it is, make public, right? So make it public, and then you'll see here you can embed it. So if you click embed, this code here will allow you to put it anywhere on anywhere you want, on your website, all that kind of stuff, right? And then if that doesn't work, if you don't want to embed it on your website, you can always just go back to the app tab. That's where the actual application is, and you can just share this URL with somebody. So easy enough to do.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, it really is like, I mean, I think you should put it on your website for sure,
Absolutely.
right? I think you put it on a landing page, you make it something they have to opt in to access. Give me your email, give me your phone number, kind of thing, and then you email or text it to them, because that gets the conversation started, right? You text it to them one day, the next day you follow up. Hey, what did it recommend? What are some of the
That's
things
right.
you learned, right? And
This
you kind
thing's
of
golden. This
keep it
type of
going.
stuff is golden. This is what you do with this is actually just a lead magnet as well. And
Yeah.
so what happens is all your lead magnets are conversation starters, as Nick said, and you should be following up with you've sent them the guide. Hey Nick, what did you think of the guide that I sent you? Right? Sometimes
Yep.
I get really specific. I'll be like, hey Nick, what did you think about the top 5 places I put in the guide for restaurants in Franklin, Tennessee?
Hmm.
Because what happens is Nick will often feel guilty for not looking at the guide, and then he'll go and check it out and be like, "Oh yeah, it sounds great. I like that steakhouse that you recommended." And so I'm engaging him deeper, right?
Right.
This is perfect. Bonnie asks, "Can you use this in Gemini? And what are the pros and cons of using different AI?" This is a loaded question. You technically can use in Gemini, but every the prompts you create in GPT will hit different in Claude, in Gemini. They are designed to, they speak differently, they're trained differently. And so, in many ways, you might need to take this prompt and the end results, bring it into your preferred, and help it create a prompt inside of it. Does that make sense? You understand what I just said there? Hopefully that wasn't confusing. And then the pros and cons of using different AI. You could probably, I actually use ChatGPT to help me understand the difference of different AIs. And I've seen it do a pretty good job. I go, listen, um, give me a breakdown of the different AIs. And honestly, the more specific you are. So, like, I write a book, right? I'm writing a book. Which one is best for analyzing continuity in a chapter? Guess what? ChatGPT said, not me. Don't use me. Use Claude. Claude
Hmm.
is much better at this, but I'm better at line editing. Okay, so you see, give it a specific request, and then you'll know the actual pros and cons, right? Which one is best to accomplish this very specific task? And ChatGPT can probably point you in the right direction.
Hmm.
All right, now we got. So where do we post guides and how to get people to sign up for them? Get the okay. So Linda, that's a deeper lead gen question. I wonder, Nick, do any of your courses kind of cover some of the what do you do once you have the guide side?
Oh yeah, I mean, so we have two courses that we're teaching here in the next month or so. One is going to be how to copy tools that I've already built.
Nice.
That's the easiest version. You basically are just looking at the options. So like the one I just made today, I'm gonna keep tweaking. I'm gonna make it a little bit better, but I actually like it already. So like that'll be one. The home value maximizer. I have one that's called a neighborhood matchmaker. So that's one course, and yes, we do cover what to do with it. We provide some marketing materials for the tools. So that one's pretty
Perfect.
comprehensive. And then there's a more advanced course where I teach you to actually build all of it yourself. So if you want to make a completely original tool, And then we do a little bit of talking about how to use again AI to generate marketing materials, where to post and talk about it. But yeah, I mean, just again, think of it as a conversation starter, right? So anywhere you can start a conversation, that's where you're going to be posting, that's where you're going to be sharing it. It's easy to overcomplicate. It's basically just tell people about it. You go on, tell people about your tool, and you're good to go. But yeah, we do cover all the marketing part.
I feel like Nick, because a bunch of people were asking this, maybe in August. I don't know if you can commit to this, so I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe
Sure,
we do a series of Wednesday trainings back to back where we do all three of these, but each training is just one specific. So we start with the PDF and and when we actually walk them through it, right? Finding the right topic, finding the name of the guide, and then actually creating the guide, and then
sure,
grabbing a Canva. Because I wonder, because this is a lot, and that's what we wanted today, guys, is this is like introducing you ways that you're not going to see this on Facebook. They're not, because they're all trying to sell you something, right?
right.
And most of what they're selling you is, if I'm going to be really honest with you guys, it's not true. It's very
Mm.
deceitful. Um and this is the real stuff because Nick showed you in real time. There's no question whether it works or not because you saw it with your own eyes that it is there and it is true and it works. You saw the model used. He's going to give you the prompts. You heard him talk to it, so you even know what he said. There was no magic words. He just talked to it. So maybe we can do that, Nick. If I mean it's
Sure.
a we'll talk about it more, but it sounds like people would really love that.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds good to me. Cool.
Perfect. All right, guys. If we have more questions, what I want you to do is drop them in the Agent Alliance Facebook group and we'll tag Nick in it and we'll get him activated there because this is a really fun, but it's not only fun, this is extremely useful. And I truly believe that this is the future of the evolved agent in real estate because I will be out a great agent if I have more ways to bring relevancy to a client. They might be smarter than me, they might have more money than me, but if I bring more value, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. And that means every single one of you, the way your pathway, right, to becoming the best of the best, to becoming irreplaceable by AI is making AI part of what you do, not running away from it. Okay.
100%.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys. Nick, thanks for being here.
Of course.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see what you guys do from the PDFs to videos to maybe even some of you going to play around with the app. I'm excited. Drop it in the Facebook group chat. I mean, in the Agent Alliance Facebook group, tag Nick in it. Um, and let's just check it out and he'll probably give you some feedback and stuff too as he's
Sure.
seeing it. So I can't wait, guys. Thank you again, Nick, man. Appreciate you.
Of course. Thanks for having me on. Talk to you
All
guys
right.
later.
See you guys. Bye.